Welcome to the Ignition News. We love to have you here, but remember to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Click that like button, that subscribe button, and leave a comment below. It's going to be a great show. Welcome to the Ignition News. Let's get busy with the truth. Yes, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ignition News. It's so good to have you. It is, in fact, March 8th today, believe it or not. It's hard to believe how quickly time is moving along. Jeez, I wasn't ready for the studio to be live. We don't have moderator Cat in the studio. It's just me and Kodak and the chickens holding down the house today. Good morning. Let's talk about some things that happened today on March 8th. In 1857 and 1908, there were massive strikes in the New York City garment districts, the textile strikes, one of the first and early uprisings of the American worker. In 1917, the Russian Revolution. On this day, on the old calendar, it would be February 23rd, women textile workers in Petrograd ignored their union leaders' advice to stay home and instead launched a massive strike. Their defiance for what they called bread and peace was the spark that eventually toppled the Tsar. Let's see, what else do we have? In this day, in 1817, the New York Stock Exchange was born. That's the tweet. Let's see. Oh, and exactly 1 year ago today, we gutted the Corporate Transparency Act, I believe with an executive order. Yes, we did. We did. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. What national holiday is it today? Let's see. Let's find out. Good thing I can edit out the pauses in the post. Let's see. It's International Women's Day. It feels like that should be a bigger. I feel like more people should know that. It's daylight savings time. Who woke up today? And you're like, oh shit, it's 7:30, not 6:30. That was me. It was a tough wake up this morning. It's National Proofreading Day. It's National Check Your Batteries Day. National Oregon Day. Northwest Pole Project. Where are you? Happy day. It's your day. It is National Colon Cancer Awareness Month, Women's History Month, National Nutrition Month, National MS Awareness Week. That starts today. Yay! It's Oregon Day. You take the day for yourself. Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad that you're here. I wanted to start out the show with a little bit of information, actually. I wanted to discuss, if you're new to the show, you probably are not aware that I would classify myself as, I guess, a neuro-abolitionist, liberationist. We're workshopping terms there. But I think what often happens when people first learn about the show or they join us on the show is they think, look at this guy talking about fascism bad. He must be a Democrat. He's a liberal. And I just want to really challenge that. And the main reason I want to challenge that is as we're building community, we need to build broad coalitions and we need people to be part of the coalitions that we build. And part of the error that people, I think, sometimes don't realize is, really, this is going to sound a little bit, there is a group of people that uses the term uniparty. And I got to say, when you look at what's happening right now in Iran, it's hard to argue with the concept and the idea that we have a uniparty in the United States of America. But anyways, I just periodically like people to remember, you, if you're a Democrat, you're welcome here. Don't get me wrong. But I think people sometimes make the false choice to say oh, man with beard talking about anti-fascism is Democrat. And I think that's a false choice that people make. And I just want to say, if you don't identify with a political party because you believe that you've been fucked, well, this is a good place for you. It's a good place for you to sit down, have a seat, grab a coffee or a spindrift, and learn about class struggle. We've been told, by the way, here's the educational rant section. We've been told that this is a choice. We have to make a choice in this conflict in Iran. You either have liberal democracy or you have theocratic tyranny in Iran. I say Iran. I'm working on saying Iran. Give me time. I'm working on it. This is a false and binary choice. It's designed to keep you actually really locked out of what's actually happening. And today I want to talk briefly about Marxism because it does inform us about, I think, what is actually going on. Marxism is not just about labor unions and free stuff, by the way. It's actually a diagnostic tool. We can understand why the bombs are falling in Tehran. It's a study and understanding of power, but most importantly, when you understand the mechanisms and levers of power that are being used against you, you are more effectively able to challenge them back. So to understand through a, Marxist lens what's happening right now, let us look at the proletariat, the working class, and imperialism. It isn't just being mean to other countries. That's not just what imperialism is. It's a necessity of the capitalist state. First, you have the U.S. interests and Israel's interest. The United States and Israel are intervening, as they would say, for human rights. If they were, in fact, intervening for human rights, they wouldn't have engineered the currency collapse in Iran earlier this year. They wouldn't be bombing children's schools, and they wouldn't be bombing infrastructure and airports. Now, the material reality of the situation is this is about the consolidation of finance, capital, and imperialism. Specifically, the religious factions in the Middle East that believe that Israel is essentially entitled to most of the land. It is imperialism at its core. When the U.S. calls itself locked and loaded, it is acting as itself an enforcer for the global structure of capital. And you can view the proletariat, the working class, versus those extracting value from us, either through the lens of an American citizen, or you can also view that from the lens of someone in Tehran, a citizen of their country. They're equally being oppressed. Since December, we have seen thousands of Iranians in the street. These are not Western spies. These are shopkeepers, laborers. I say union. There's not unions in Tehran. They are fighting the mullahs. The mullahs are essentially a fascist state capitalist entity. I'm getting really granular right now. We're losing some people. The Iranian ruling class uses religion instead of capitalism to put that control over its populace. But nonetheless, the control structure still exists. Meanwhile, the working class in America and in Israel are being told to tighten your belts. Inflation's going up. Global markets are rattling. Tax dollars are being liquidated right now in missiles flying overhead. But we got to keep buying more missiles. We got to keep buying more missiles. We got to keep defending ourselves, right? Well, Marxism would not view this as a conflict of religion. Marxism would not view this as a conflict necessarily even of, I guess, capitalism at its raw structure. What it would view it as is a sort of epic defeat of the working class, using all of the structure of our tax dollars, the religious control in Iran, the military control in the country. So when we say no war in Iran, we're not saying, oh, we are on the side of Tehran. We're defending our own rights to have prosperity. We're defending our own rights to, I guess, not liquidate our own healthcare in $30 million missiles flying over the country. But at its core, what you see is the structural imbalance of imperialism, capitalism, and the working class. Working class, the proletariat, they do not go to war with each other. Rarely. I mean, it does happen, but rarely is that the case. I got on a tangent. I'll get back to it. Welcome back. A little bit of an education about Marxism there. It wasn't necessarily the cleanest explanation, but we're all here to learn, are we not? Welcome to the show. I have just a few quick stories to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is something that we are really afraid to kind of say. All right, back onto the first story. And it actually ties into our lesson today. And that is that American political discourse is locked in a cycle of permanent panic. Every week there's a new court ruling. Every week there's a new war. There's a new crisis. There is a new challenge. And there's a failure of what I'm now using that term, the uniparty, to really do anything to effectively help us. I want to be precise here. The more unsettling truth is that Americans are not living under a future threat of the breakdown of democracy. We're not living under this idea that democracy is on the perilous edge, the cliff, if you will. We are living in its collapse. We're living in the active collapse of American democracy. And that doesn't mean that nothing matters. That doesn't mean that it's hopeless. That does not mean that it is all gone. But look and ask yourself the question, are the courts intervening? If the president were to say, launch an executive order that you have to vote in person, that you have to show ID, could the courts respond in time? What if he did that on the day of the election? What if in the South, you blue dots in the red states? What if in the South, the governors in the South decided to go along with his executive order? But in California, of course not. Then you have votes which are counted based on one standard. Votes are not counted based on another standard. We are living in the collapse of that same imperialism we talked about before. And everything has to be viewed from one simple lens. Every policy decision has to be viewed through one simple lens. What action will the United States government do that benefits the smallest amount of billionaires at the cost of the working class? Let me use an example. Fuck it. I'm throwing out the script today. Okay. I had a whole script of news. Fuck it. We started talking about the working class, started talking about the proletariat, talking about Iran. Fuck it. We're in it now. Okay. we're there. Okay. If Kodak can passionately engage with whatever UPS truck just went on by, I can go on my tangent as well. Okay. So the conflict in Ukraine started in February 2022. Believe it or not, we've been doing this for 4 years. In around early 2023, I was watching on Reddit and I saw the first time ever I saw a POV footage from a drone on top of a Russian tank, and it was flying over the Russian tank and it dropped a bomb, a grenade, down into an open slot in a Russian tank and blew up the tank. And I said to myself in that instance, holy shit, warfare is permanently changed. It's changed forever. That one little drone, it was probably like a DJI drone with a fishing wire or some shit like that. And I saw that and I said, oh my God, this has changed forever. And then it got more and more advanced and more and more advanced and more and more advanced. And the war machine in Ukraine evolved. The war machine in Russia evolved and changed. And Ukraine itself built 500 factories. Completely, they innovated the drone infrastructure in their country because they had to. It was something they had to do to survive. And so now in Ukraine, there's about 500 companies and factories that make drones specifically for this purpose. Now, to be very clear, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that we're making drones to kill people, okay? This is not something that anyone should be proud of. But viewed through the lens of American capitalism and viewed through the filter I just gave you before, I would ask you the question. I am not a military guy. Most of you are not military people, right? But if we can look at that and say to ourselves, if I could say in 2023, early 2023, holy shit, American warfare has changed forever. Why? Why was no one in American command and control making that decision as well? Why were none of our military leaders saying, holy shit? Why were we not using the $1 trillion budget of the military that we gave them, $1 trillion every single year, $1 trillion to rapidly advance and protect us? Well, I would posit the following. A drone in Ukraine produced by one of those 500 companies, the average cost of those things is like $400 to $500. An interceptor missile, of which we fired 3 usually to intercept an Iranian ballistic missile, costs $28 million. Why? Why would we replace a $28 million interceptor with better technology that's cheaper and more innovative? Well, because when United States interceptor missiles are running low, and now and we realize that we're fighting a war in Iran with a 30-year-old strategy, guess what? Now Raytheon and Lockheed Martin not only get to replace those interceptors, but they get to charge a premium to replace those interceptors. We need them fast. Fast is expensive. Everything you view through that lens. We were sold this promise of technology, right? It's going to make our lives better, easier to connect, all that sort of stuff. It's divided us, it's made us more stressed, and it's made a smaller and smaller pool of billionaires wealthier and wealthier. And the reason I bring this up is the critical moment that we can now see this happening, right? Is in a moment of our own self-defense. It is just nakedly obvious that we are not prepared for modern military conflict. We are not prepared for modern military conflict. The biggest, most expensive military on the world is a big, slow-moving failure in Iran. You can't bomb populations into submission. That's not how it works. The president thinks he can engage in this warfare from 30,000 feet and bomb his way out of wars, but that's not how it works anymore. And instead of innovating and making your life safer, cheaper, which is what could happen, our government is doing the opposite, making it more dangerous and charging you more money. The emperor has no clothes. Do you see how it's all connected? Do you see how it's all intertwined? But the thing is, when we're having that class conversation, imperialism, capitalism, the working class struggle, everyone's losing, but especially the working class is losing. It would be one thing, though not a good thing, if the imperialist leaders in control were engaging in a military campaign that had a chance of success that was nonetheless expensive, but they're just fucking it up and wasting $1 billion a day and making the world unsafer. And the worst part of it all is your tax dollars are being used to make your gas more expensive. Think about that for a second. You are funding the increase of your own gas price. $1 billion a day. $1 billion a day. Gas prices are up 85 cents. I just saw gas in Las Vegas was over $4. So yeah, I can't talk about the war forever. Let's move on. I do want to talk at home about another issue. Let's talk about how imperialism, how capitalism, how the ruling class is making us unsafe, but most importantly, the cruelty and the cost of it all. At Camp East Montana in El Paso, sitting on Fort Bliss Army property, there is currently an ICE facility, and there is currently a measles outbreak. 14 confirmed cases of measles. 112 individuals have been placed in isolation. The facility is now closed to visitors. Attorneys are trying to see their clients in the ICE facility, but they are being turned away. This follows outbreaks of tuberculosis and COVID-19 at the same facility in the past 2 weeks. Camp East Montana is the largest ICE detention facility in the country right now. It holds almost 3,000 people in a soft-sided tent infrastructure. This is in the desert in 2026. It is a concentration camp, and people are getting measles. This facility was built 2 months after a $1.2 billion contract was awarded to a Virginia company called Acquisition Logistics LLC. Before the contract, the company's largest contract on record was $16 million. This company is run by one man, Kenneth Wagner. He is operating a $1.2 billion concentration camp from a single family home in Virginia. The company website, as of today, says, site maintenance in progress. What is the official government position on this? No lawbreakers in the history of human civilization have ever been treated better than illegal aliens in the United States. That is an official statement from the United States government. But it is not just the people being detained in that facility. This is the entire system designed to leverage the push. And the thing that I said yesterday, the thing that I will close the show out with today is quite simple. It is easy to view the people being bombed in Iran, or the immigrants in a literal tent, or to view the homeless in your community and to say, this is tragic. I'm grateful for the things that I have in my life. But what you realize when you zoom out is that, do you ever see one of those, those coin machines? This is probably my best metaphor yet. Do you ever go to like an arcade or even a casino, and there's like this machine and it's got like quarters in it, and you put a quarter down, the quarter drops in, and it pushes the quarters out? Coin pusher? Yeah, thank you, Sandy. That's what's happening right now. It's just a matter of where are you in the coins. Every little incremental thing is being pushed and pushed and pushed. But what's happening is the government is just putting bigger and bigger things to push us farther and farther out. And what's happening right now is a bunch of us are just on the back end of those coins right now. And you can feel the pressure of the coins coming down on your head. There's no doubt about it. But for the time being, you can step aside, or you can just deal with the pressure of the chaos falling from the skies. But most Americans right now are comfortably sitting on the back end, looking at the things falling over the cliff and saying, I'm sure glad that's not me. Really glad that's not me. And what they should be doing is taking collective action as a working class to stop the machine, right? That seems the most obvious. From the outside looking in, that seems the most obvious. Stop the machine. But instead, we're blaming the immigrant dropping down on us, pushing us closer to the edge, or we're blaming the person in Iran, forcing us into a military conflict. Incidentally, they didn't do that. And if we don't stop the machine, all that's going to happen is the coins that come down on us are just going to get bigger and bigger. They're going to take up more and more space, and our push to the edge over to what we do not know is just going to come faster. Thank you, Sandy, for telling me that. Coin pusher. We're all coins in this coin pusher right now. And we think somehow that we're going to take some kind of action that's going to step us back. Or yes, sometimes maybe a machine worker comes and shuffles us around. That's what happens. That's essentially what the Democrats are doing. Holy shit, this is the best metaphor I've had in a long time. What the Democratic Party does when we give the Democratic Party power is they come in and they push the coins back, No. You're not supposed to go yet. Harm reduction. No. No, you're not supposed to go over the edge yet. Let's just get you right back there. We did it! We saved you from the edge. Vote blue no matter who. Vote blue no matter who. You didn't go over the edge. We saved you. Well, what we have to do is stop the machine. I'm sorry I had more lecture, less news today. I apologize for that. There's important stories to talk about, but we'll have to do that tomorrow. That's the show, everybody. It's March 8th, 2026. Thank you for tuning in to the Ignition News. See you back on the show tomorrow. This has been today's episode of The Ignition News. Please consider following us on all of your favorite podcast platforms, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, or Substack. We're here to deliver to you unfiltered, uncensored news. Let's get busy with the truth on The Ignition News.